Canes win 3-2 the final over the Rangers. And joining us now live on NHL Now is new member of the Carolina Hurricanes, Shayne Gostisbehere. I'll start with this. How are you settling in with your new squad? Are you moved in? Are you comfortable? How is life for Shayne Gostisbehere right now?
I'm good. I'm all moved in. Dogs, wife, everyone's here. Thanks to the Canes for, making everything easy move and everything. So definitely more comfortable than I was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, how does that all work? I mean, like, who is working with you there? Do you move into somebody's house that used to be with the Canes? I mean, how does that all go? Because I know you're married, so you got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, I mean, this is the first time I've been traded at a deadline. So I think for myself, just getting traded during the season was different than obviously in the summer. So definitely a new task for my wife and I and our family. So, the Canes helped me out good, our team service guy, and, they got me dialed in with a little apartment. I only stayed in the hotel one night, so
nice.
it worked out quite well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, only one night.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
hey, that's great. I just want to ask you about just what was going through your head at the time when the trade went down. I mean, it's got to be pretty exciting, right, to go to a team that you fit in very well with, but is also a contender.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just being in the situation I was with the Coyotes and, obviously in a different time frame for, organization-wise and what they're trying to do to get traded to an actual contender and a real chance here. I can't be more thankful. But, I think just in general, playing with a great team and just having fun and, like I said, just, getting ready for the playoffs. It's just a new atmosphere, new aspect you're ready to go for.
Well, you were brought in as a quote-unquote power play specialist.
Yeah.
We heard a lot about this from all the pundits. So this deal happened. Did you feel any pressure at all, like hearing the way people were talking about you? You're coming in, this guy's going to help our power play. And you did right away.
Yeah.
I mean, you got on the board with power play point. But did you feel at all a little bit nervous going into that first game? Like, oh boy, I'm expected to make things happen on this power play. I hope that happens soon.
Yeah, I mean, the systems are pretty unique and a little in-depth here, so I think I was definitely more worried about 5-on-5 play and whatnot, but I think for myself, obviously, I'm a power play guy. It's definitely one of my bigger strengths of, out there for myself, and, I think just going out there, making it easy on myself, shooting pucks and, moving pucks, I think that just makes it easier for me. They didn't put too much pressure on me. They just wanted me to go out there and, do what makes me special, so obviously it worked well to start, and hopefully we can continue this success.
Shayne, I got to see the Hurricanes up close at the Stadium Series game in Raleigh. Jackie was out there, I think, a few days later for the game against the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think we both came back with the same feeling, like, that's a really good room. I mean, we get around dressing rooms over the years. I've been around a lot of different ones over the years. And, you move into that situation there. Obviously, you're not going to come on and say, hey, these guys are a bunch of dummies, But, like, you've been around enough to know. Do you sense it's a little different, a little tighter maybe than what you're used to?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lot of these guys have been here a while, and, they've instilled that culture in that room. And, I think the first thing I realized when I got there was how close they were and, how much of a, business approach they take to, going to the rink every day. And, everyone has a certain role on this team and, everyone plays it to a T. And I think that's what makes this team so good.
I got to ask you this because the game is always changing, and it's the evolution of the game is great, and the game's never been more skilled than it is right now. But I think back when we used to think of heavy shots. And remember, it's Dano Chara at the All-Star game. He's bringing the heat. I mean, 6'9", 270 pounds, whatever he was. Then I started looking around at the All-Star game this year. Elias Pettersson, I mean, he's 6'1", 6'2", somewhere in there, but not very big and strong, but he's bringing the heat in. And then your shot comes to mind for me. You've had an absolute bomb, I feel like, since you came into this league. And you're not a big guy. Where you're like 5'11", and what is it? Is it the technology, just the way you have gotten your stick to do the work for you? Like, what is it with your shot that makes it come off so hard?
Yeah, I think a lot of people ask me that question, and I always try to say it's like a baseball pitcher. It comes down to mechanics and what you're trying to do. I mean, a lot of my shot is, my grandpa's been saying it since I was little, just shoot it as hard as you can. And, I think it's just a combination of that and, using your stick to your ability. I mean, just finding that flex point and, everything you can, and that combination with, shooting it as hard as you can. So.
Well, the advice from Grandpa has certainly worked out well.
Working out well.
For you. Just shoot it as hard as you can. Ruppers told great stories on this network just about being traded and then playing your former team and feeling a little bit of like an obligation to be like, all right, I'm with these guys now. Like, I got to make sure it's obvious. Like, I play on this side of the line. Yeah. You play your first game with the Hurricanes against the Coyotes. What was that like? Was it weird for you? Did you feel like, all right, I'm over here now. I'm not going to go like yuck it up with my boys over on the Yotes. I got to like stay over here with my new team. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I mean, it was super unique because they were actually, when I got traded, they were in Dallas on the road and I didn't go on the road trip with them. And then obviously I got traded to Carolina and they were in Vegas coming to Arizona. So I literally just stayed home for 2 days doing nothing. And then obviously Carolina came in, I met all the guys and whatnot, and literally just moved my equipment over to the other side of the room. But, it was definitely a unique situation. I mean, it was, coach called it a double whammy. I mean, you're playing with your new team against your former team, and it was definitely weird, to be honest. I mean, it was definitely a unique situation, but, we made the best of it. And another funny part is after the game, we didn't even leave. I stayed another night in Arizona, so I was literally in Arizona for like 5 straight days.
Mid-season, which would be weird.
Yeah, a little rest, a little downtime.
Yeah.
What was that like couple weeks like leading to the deadline? Because we all know the story with Jacob Chychrun, and like that had gone on for a really long time. He was finally moved. You got moved. What was the conversations like between you and maybe Bill Armstrong or the coach there about like what was going to go on and how it was going to play out? Because it is a tricky situation. And as you point out, the Coyotes are on a different timeline for their rebuild. And for someone like you and for Jacob Chychrun and some others there, you're in the midst of your career. What was those couple of weeks like for you in terms of communicating with the Coyotes about how things were going to unfold?
Yeah, I think the best part about that whole situation was Bill was very clear and honest that, I was going to be traded. And, I thank him for that because, you can get your mind right with not only, on the ice, but off the ice with your family and whatnot. So, but even though it's, it's coming, it's still definitely a hard time because your mind wanders because you obviously don't know where you're going to go. You can go to anywhere in the world. You don't know your life's going to change in 2 weeks. And I think obviously the hardest part is the unknown. And I'm just happy I've been through it now and know what to expect if it ever does happen again. But, I think the best thing was the line of communication with Bill. He was very honest from the get-go that, I was going to be traded and he wasn't going to string me along or anything. So I appreciate him for that.
Ghost, I got one for you. You came from an organization that has probably the most jacked GM around. Big arms, chest, big man, Bill Armstrong. And now you're in Carolina, and you've got the most jacked coach, Rod Brind'Amour. So arm wrestling match between the two. Who's winning?
I don't know. Sorry, Bill, but I probably got to go with Rod the Bod on that one.
Rod the Bod?
Yeah. Yeah, he's got the perseverance. He's got it in him.
I love that you made a pick there. You didn't start out of the line. You made a pick. I respect that.
And I think Bill might agree with him. Yeah. Because Roddy's like he's a dog and competitor, and he's.
I was gonna say he's a gamer too.
Yeah,
I don't know. Bill looks pretty intimidating.
Bill's a big man, though.
Bill might flip the table on everyone right there. I don't know. It'd be a good battle, I think.
Right.
What were your early conversations with Roddy B like when you first got to the team? Kind of what I guess is your first impression of him as your coach?
Just the pure honesty. I mean, he goes, we brought you in here, we need help with our power play. I don't want you to change the way you play. You could skate, so this system's going to be really good for you. And, that's just something I appreciated from day one with all the coaches is, they've made me feel comfortable in this system. It's a very dynamic system with a lot of terminology that I wasn't used to, a lot of terms that are called something else that I'm used to. So I think for myself, just being comfortable with the system and, it just makes it easier to go out there and play.
You mentioned the word system, so I want to see if we can get a little deep dive here a little on this because, we watch the game, always trying to figure things out. Fans are trying to figure things out. I see a lot of times in the D zone, you get this man-on-man coverage where Ds get pulled far away from the net. Sometimes I think if I was working against that, I would tell my guys, like let's get those D away from where they defend and make other guys defend instead. When you play that position, I mean, is it confusing sometimes? And does it take a lot of communication in the zone to make sure that guys are going in the right spot, particularly if it's a man-on-man coverage?
Yeah, for sure. We play a hard man-on-man system in the D zone, and I think that sometimes you think it's a little easier doing that, but when teams are, doing crisscrosses, dragging guys high, I mean, it definitely takes a line of communication out there to, stay all in sync. And I think, we do a good job of that in the sense that, number one, we don't want to play a lot in the D zone, and number two, that we're just always on the same line of communication, and we're always dialed in.
All right, last one for you. You are on a new team. Who made like the biggest first impression on you in terms of players? Like, I think people would assume maybe it's Brent Burns, but like, who was kind of the first guy where you're like, oh, this guy's got personality? I had no idea.
I mean, it's hard not to say Burnsy when he comes in with a hiking backpack the size of a refrigerator.
I saw it last
for
night.
a 2-day road trip, but I think just in general, collectively, the group's just so nice and welcoming. Steph Noson's been really good for me and really nice for me, and making me feel comfortable, and and just inviting me over, my wife and I, over for dinner at his house and with his family, and just helping me along the way and just making me feel comfortable. So very appreciative for that.
You said the word there that I think both of us talked about after having covered Canes games earlier this month or last month, whatever it was. Nice. It's a very nice team.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is super respectful, nice, professional. So that adds up to me based on my experience too. But congratulations on the move. It's a very exciting time for the Carolina Hurricanes. So enjoy the final push of the regular season, and best of luck in the playoffs.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.